Good Sunday morning, everyone. Welcome to Pure Adrenaline Fantasy Sports. Once again, I'm John here with Sean. Sean, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, John. How are you?
How late were you up last night watching your Atlanta Braves clinch the pennant for the National League?
12:30, 1 o'clock.
No, that's not too bad. So we had the Thursday night game. It got off to a slow start. Turned out to be a pretty decent game, though, with Cleveland and Denver. What'd you think of Thursday night's game?
It wasn't bad. It was shocking to see Denver have so many injuries. They lost probably Von Miller for a few weeks. I think they lost all four of their linebackers actually on Thursday night, and they actually just made a trade yesterday with Minnesota and get one of their linebackers. So they have a few injuries going up there. But for the running backs for Cleveland, for him being a third stringer and never had come out and have the rushing touchdown right off the bat and have, I think it was like almost 160 yards total of offense on Thursday night. I mean, you can't really complain in first career start and you're going out and putting up those kind of stats.
Yeah, absolutely. What games are you looking forward to today?
I think the Detroit Lions and the Rams, Stafford versus Goff rematch of that. I think Goff has a lot to prove. He got told on Sunday by his head coach, the head coach in the press conference said that if Goff doesn't step up and start showing his potential, that they don't know how long he'll be around because they're not happy with how little he's performing right now. And I mean, it's showing it. I mean, it doesn't look like he's the Jared Goff that was last year. And even though he's in a different team, it still don't change the fact that he throws the ball and turnovers.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually looking forward to my Jets play at 1, but I'm actually looking forward to Kansas City and Tennessee at 1 o'clock also. I really like that matchup. I do like the Rams Lions matchup, but the later games, there's really not that good of a matchup. I guess the Eagles going into Vegas has the potential to
Yeah,
be a good matchup, but
I think that's the only one that'll be a close one out of the four matchups in the afternoon games. I think the other three are going to be all a blowout and a landslide from the defensive aspect on a bad offensive side.
Yeah, before we jump into to a couple of the games here, Payo Time chimes in. Let me bring his thing up. Huge choice to make Allen Robinson or Devonta Smith today. I know this question came in early, and we kind of talked off the air. It should be Smith. Any reason to start Robinson, who's questionable?
No, he's got an ankle injury and going up against a good Buccaneers defense, but a depleted Buccaneers defense who's been battling a lot of injuries. I just think Devonta Smith has a better upside in the 4 o'clock window against the Raiders defense and getting more points for you. I don't think Robinson's going to have the chance to get many catches today. That defensive line is going to go right through Chicago, and Justin Fields has shown that under pressure against Cleveland, he got sacked 8 times. I think that he's just not going to have a good game today. Justin Fields being a rookie going against Tampa Bay and Tom Brady.
Yeah, absolutely. Any of the positions? I know there's tons of buys this week. We got 6 teams on a buy. I had the list here somewhere. I don't know what I did with it, but Buffalo's on a buy. The Chargers are on a buy. Dallas, Minnesota. Who am I missing? Jaguars, and the Steelers.
Steelers.
Yeah. So out of the quarterbacks, let me bring the quarterback projections for the week up. Out of the quarterbacks, the number 2 quarterback, 7, number 9, and number 10 quarterbacks on the season are all on buys this week. Who are some quarterbacks on this list that fantasy owners should be trying to add to their teams and using if they're looking for a quarterback this week?
I like Matt Ryan. Only owning 72% of the leagues. I think he's going against a really shaken up Browns defense, or not Browns, Dolphins defense, who has a lot of injuries and a lot of people out. So I think that could be a good matchup for him today. A matchup that I don't like is Joe Burrow against the Ravens. I don't think he'll have a good game. I don't think that the Ravens defense is going to let him have a good game. I mean, look at what they did with Herbert last week. So I think that'll make them keep the pressure down. And I mean, I think Burrow could have a decent running game for Joe Mixon, hand it off, but I don't think him and Jamar Chase are going to have the breakout game that they've had so many times this year already.
Yeah, absolutely. First, before I give my take, I would just want to say hello to Extra Point Podcast. He started following us a couple weeks ago, so welcome again. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on Matt Ryan. I'm using him in my FanDuel lineup this week. But yeah, some of the other matchups: Aaron Rodgers going up against the 32nd ranked Washington defense. Tannehill going up against Kansas City, who's 31. I do think Tennessee will be able to run the ball there. What do you think of that? What do you think of Tannehill against Kansas City?
I don't think he's going to get passing touchdowns. I think he'll get the rushing touchdowns. I mean, you got Derrick Henry, who has, I think, 11 touchdowns on the year already. And I think in the last 4 games I think he has 13. I think now was the last one I saw, because in the last 4 games he has 3 games of 3 touchdowns apiece, and in the other game he had, I think, 1 or 2. So I think Tannehill is not going to get the passing touchdowns like he was last year. Julio Brown's shaken up. I know he's going to be possible to play, and AJ Brown, he just isn't up to the standards he was last year that we thought he was going to have this year, with having the ability not to have the number 1 on him with Julio. But Julio has been shaken up so much, it's kind of taken and putting the pressure back on AJ Brown, and he's getting the number 1 on him every week, and he hasn't really performed that well as well. So, but against a bad, shaken up and beaten up Chiefs defense, I think that you'll get a pretty decent game out of Brown today.
Yeah, Extra Point chimes in with a question: Darnold or Tua? Sean, as I bring up the comparison for the quarterbacks, who do you like in this matchup, or between these two guys, and why?
I think Darnold, going against the Giants, a lot of injuries in New York for them right now, and I just think that he'll have a better game. He's going to get connected with DJ Moore, and he'll get you probably 1 or 2 passing touchdowns, and you have a good chance at a one or two rushing touchdowns even. Tua, with the rib injury still in effect, he's not running the ball, so you're not going to get the rushing yards out of him or a rushing touchdown. You'll get the passing attempts, but Devontae Parker is out again, so it's just coming down to Waddle and Gaseki. So I wouldn't go with Tua today. I just don't think that against the Falcons defense, who was coming back from a bye, and Tua just coming back from London, I think that you'll see the Atlanta Falcons defense flying around the field today.
Yeah, I agree. I actually have Tua projected a little bit higher at 20.5 points to 19 for Darnold. Just about the same amount of yards, 245 to 251. Both getting anywhere between 1 to 2 touchdowns and a possibility at an interception. But like Sean said, I do like the matchup better for Darnold going up against a depleted Giants defense. Just the whole team for the Giants is banged up. So not a real good matchup there. So Extra Point. Thanks for the question. I want to share this. I know we're still growing and we're still getting followers and stuff like that. But as we grow, I want to be able to do giveaways. So I want to know who everybody's favorite team is. Extra Point. Before I put you on the list, I thought you said you were a Panthers fan. If you can just confirm that in the chat, and I'll get you on the list here. We're growing, so hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching. Sean, any other quarterbacks before we jump over to running backs?
No, let's jump over to running backs.
Any one particular player you're looking forward to today?
Yeah, Devonta Freeman in Baltimore. He has a chance to get his career back on the right path, maybe get picked up from another team even after the year ends with everyone's injuries. He's gotten a touchdown last week, So, and with him being the starter for today, with Latavius Murray out and Tyson Williams is the backup because Le'Veon Bell is the backup now to Freeman, I think that he's destined to have a pretty good game. I actually put him in my DraftKings lineup. I think that he's worth taking the risk on. I think that he's got a big upside in Baltimore against Cincinnati. They give up a lot of rushing yards, so I think that could be a pretty good game for them. Another person I really like is Corel Patterson. He's a Swiss Army knife, passing, rushing, kick, and punt returns. He's going to get you points. I think that he honestly has earned that starting job over Mike Davis, who they signed from Carolina last year. I think that unless Patterson gets injured, I don't think that you'll see him not be putting up decent numbers this year. I just don't think anyone can figure him out, because when you figure him out, he'll just throw something else at you.
Yeah, I like those guys as well. My two guys this week that I really like are Josh Jacobs for the Raiders. He's 29th on the season, but I have him actually ranked as the number 9 running back this week. And Miles Sanders of the Eagles, who's 30th on the year. I have him projected to be the 14th running back this week. So with buys, some of these guys are going to be added to lineups. And go ahead.
Another person I really like too is Darrell Williams in Kansas City. Tennessee can stop the run, but he also gets a lot of He gets more catches out of the backfield than he does rushing attempts typically on any given day, and even when Clyde Edwards was there. So, and he's proven that when Clyde Edwards is out, he'll get more catching attempts. Another people I would stay away from is Damien Williams and Cleo Herbert in Chicago. Tampa Bay is number 2 against the run. You're not going to get many rushing yards. The only other person that stops the run a lot is Carolina, but Devontae Booker is not going to get many rushing attempts. I mean, they stopped the run, but they proven last week that when Dalvin Cook can get 100, I think it was 130 rushing yards last week, and he was, after the first quarter, he actually had -6 yards, that he can go off really quickly.
Yeah, and looking at the running backs, this is another tough week for buys. We have Eckler, who's on a buy. He's number 2. Najee Harris is number 3. Ezekiel Elliott is number 4. James Robinson is number 8. So,
I think Dalvin's 20.
Yeah, so hopefully these guys aren't on your teams and you're facing the guys that do have these players for this week. Any other running back, Sean?
No, let's jump over to wide receivers, because I think with the wide receiving core, if you have anyone on the New York Giants, I would say stay far away.
Yeah,
they have injury prone to. They lost Galladay, they lost Shepard and Tony, who were number 1, 2, and 3. Their 4th and 5th string, Ross and Shepard or Slayton, both have hamstring pulls, but they're going today. And their 6th string actually has an ankle injury. So I don't know if they're going to get I think they might get the water boy out there and hope that he can put up some points. He said high quality H2O is a good way to go. But, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about New York. They lost a running back. They lost the 3 wide receivers. They lost a tight end. I believe he was questionable. I don't know if he's playing with Ingram. It's just, I don't know what New York's doing up there, but I think they need to get some kind of person in there to help them keep players from getting injured, because even their defense is pretty shaken up. They lost a lot of players on defense this year.
Yeah. Yep. And before I jump in here, some of the wide receivers on buys this week are Mike Williams, who's number 4, Justin Jefferson, who's number 6, CeeDee Lamb, who's number 10, and Adam Thielen, who's number 11. So once again, some heavy firepower there on the bye weeks this week.
Yeah, and someone I really like this week is Calvin Ridley against the Dolphins. Coming back, he had some personal matters 2 weeks ago when he last played. So I think that he's destined to have a pretty good game today. Another person that I think is going to have a really good game is Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Antonio Brown's out, so they should have a really good game without Antonio Brown. And Gronkowski's out still with his rib injury. I don't think they'll keep him from coming back right now until he's healthy because they'd rather use him in a playoff run anyways over a regular season when they're almost guaranteed. Another person that we talked about earlier, I actually asked you about for my fantasy lineup, Traquan Smith in New Orleans. He's coming back from injury, so to see how him and Jameis Winston work together on offense and how they play. I think they said Mike Thomas is week 9 to week 10 coming back from his off-season surgery that he didn't wait until August to have. So I think that he'll come back and have a good game.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the wide receivers I like this week. I really like Robert Woods for the Rams. He's 26th on the season. I have him 11th this week, and I actually like Jalen Waddle as well from Miami this week. 27th on the year and 14th for this week. So there's some guys I don't like. Where'd they go? Jamar Chase. I believe you talked about him. I don't like him this week. So, but with so many buys this week, it's going to be tough to
a lot of tough matchups.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Woods, the only reason why I think he's ranked 26, Cooper Kupp has 7 touchdowns on the year, or 8. So, and he hasn't have any, I don't think yet, or I think he only has 1 touchdown on the year. So, and Jamar Chase, I mean, he's going up against a lot of players, so that a lot of tough players on the Ravens. So I don't think Jamar Chase is destined to have a good game unless he can somehow break one without things going on up there and getting confusion.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other wide receivers you want to talk about?
No, I think you touched another good one is Waddle. He's number 1 up there now in Miami. And last week, I think he had 2 touchdowns in London, and I think it was like 80 yards. So I would stay away from like the Seattle players. I don't know about them having good games yet. Patterson, I mean, you have him as a wide receiver. He's a running back. I don't know what. I think he probably can even line up as a tight end even. So if you have him and he's got multiple positions to lock in on, you could even use him as a wide receiver even.
Yeah, absolutely. Jumping over to tight ends. Of course, the same guys every week: Kelsey, Andrews, Waller. Now, I know out of those 3, Kelsey's in a league of his own. A couple of years ago, Kittle was probably in the same category, but he's kind of fallen off with some injuries here.
Yeah, he's getting banged up.
Yeah, who do you like besides the top couple of guys? Who do you like this week?
There's 2 names I really like this week. I like Mike Gaseki. He's destined to have a really good game in Miami today. With their injuries and everything, he's going to get the ball handed to or thrown to him pretty good amount. I think last week he had 10 or 11 targets, and I think he had 140 yards almost. Another person I really like is Ricky Seals-Jones in Washington. Green Bay doesn't really cover the tight end position really well. So a lot of short plays, and I know last week he had a touchdown in Kansas City that he broke one on a tackle. So I think that he could have a really good game. People I would stay away from. I'm not sure about right now. TJ Hawkinson, ankle injury. Him and Goff haven't hooked up like they thought they were. And another person I would stay away from for the current time being until you see how he plays today is Zach Ertz in Arizona. We don't know how he's going to play. We don't know how they're going to use him. They could use him just for blocking purposes and when they need to throw that occasional pass. But I think today it is National Tight End Day for the NFL, so I think you're going to see tight ends ball out today.
Gotcha. What do you think? I think Goddard's coming back for the Eagles.
Yeah, I think he should have a good game. Now he knows he has no pressure on him for being Zach Ertz being gone, but he also might have to be going out and saying, like, proving himself, because with the trade deadline next week, he might even be on the trading block if someone needs a good tight end, like San Francisco with their injuries, or someone else might even want one that can get one.
Payo Time says he's back after getting some lunch. Thanks for coming back. Payo Time, he's got his own channel. We're actually trying to work something out after the Rams bye week for him to come on and for us to go over there. So if you're a Rams fan or if your team's not playing, you just want to hang out and talk some football, check out Payo Time's YouTube channel. And he's always answering the questions that people are posting. So give him a follow. Yeah, the tight ends are tough. I really liked Higbee coming into the during the off season. He really hasn't had that good of a year. So
Matt
tough
Stafford.
there,
Matt Stafford just hasn't been throwing to him enough. I mean, he figured if Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are open and Van Jefferson, and you could throw an 80-yard bomb every time. I mean, you don't have to really worry about your underneath tight ends really. If they don't get the many third and shorts, they're not going to use them as much.
Yeah, and I know you were going over the Giants' injuries. Was Ingram on the?
He's shaken up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think he has an ankle injury or something. They said, or a lower body injury. I mean, I think everyone on the Giants is questionable right now. I mean, the coach's job's pretty questionable, but I guess we'll see how that works out for him. I mean, they gotta get Daniel Jones back to his roster that he should be used to. I mean, he's playing with there's so many backups now. It's hard to blame him right now when he can't even prove himself because he doesn't have anyone to throw to that he's used to.
Yeah, with the Giants, I think if things continue the way they are, of course they'll be looking for definitely a new general manager, and I'm sure the new general manager is not going to want to keep the coach that's there. There is a slim chance. The only thing I could see happening is the Giants pay a boatload of money and draft capital to get Belichick from the Patriots. I think that's the only other team Belichick would want to coach because I believe he got his start there 40-something years ago. So
that's where he got his first Super Bowl, actually.
Yeah, as a defensive coordinator. So, what do you think of what's going on in New England? If for some reason the Jets can win today, I believe New England would be 0-5 at home.
Yeah, which is crazy. But another aspect to think of for the Giants is I think it's coming into their year. They have to lock down Barkley again on his contract. I think once they get his fifth-year rookie contract, they almost want to try to unload him and give him to a team that might need him, or to try to unload some of their wide receiving core that they have that's been banged up for so many years as well. I know they drafted a lot of the players they have, and they've been trying to develop them, but if they're so injury prone, maybe try to get draft picks or other players that they could use. It's coming a time where they haven't had a winning season, I think, in 6 or 7 years, and maybe try to get
go ahead.
Maybe try to get Eli Manning to want to come and be like a coach or something, because he's shown that he can win 2 Super Bowls, but you also gotta try to get some people in there maybe to help them out a little.
Yeah, absolutely. And over that time, whatever those 6 or 7 years are, the Giants and the Jets have the same record, and they're the 2 worst teams in football over that span.
Yeah, exactly. It's not looking good for them right now, for the New York teams. The New York teams that are not in New York.
That are not in New York, right? Yeah, that's funny. But Buffalo being the only team actually in the state of New York. What do you think of the Bills? Do you think that they beat Kansas City, but then they lose to Tennessee? What do you think? Is Buffalo as good as everybody thinks they are, or are they still? There's 3 or 4 teams that are in the top tier of the AFC.
I just think Buffalo got greedy on Monday night. I think it was pure greed. I think that they knew they couldn't stop Derrick Henry at that point. And, I mean, you can't stop a tank when it's moving downhill.
Yeah.
But it's coming to a time I think Buffalo's got to go out and they got to prove their top wins. I mean, they beat Kansas City. They probably could match up pretty good with Baltimore. And they should have beaten Tennessee. So I think that loss with Tennessee was an eye-opener that the coach couldn't be that greedy, and you got to take the points when you can with a few seconds left, go to overtime and try to win it. I just don't that hurt them so much in the long run because the Ravens winning as much as they are, they lost their 1 seed, and the Ravens playing in a pretty decent, easy division with teams that are getting injured now. You got to look at the big picture, and that 1 seed is the big picture now because they lose that and they got to play. Yeah, they play at home the first 2 games, but they also could have to play more tougher teams. They could have to even play Kansas City over again. I don't know if they want to play Kansas City over again because they've proven that in the playoffs, Mahomes can do some magic and pull a rabbit out.
Yeah, no, I know not to flip back off Buffalo there, but you had brought up Saquon and the Giants having to do something with that contract. Another guy that's in that boat is going to be Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. They came in the league together. What do you think of Baker? Do you think he's the franchise, or what do you think they should do in Cleveland there?
I don't think he's the answer. The problem is they're like New York. They got so many injuries. Their running backs, 2 top running backs injured. They got so many wide receivers injured and injury prone. I think that Baker has a choice. I think they said if he could sit out a few weeks and hope he's healthy, or he can have season-ending surgery on his shoulder. He's got a tore ligament in his shoulder, so I don't know if even if he'll be playing this year again anyways, because I don't know if they'll trust him. He gets hit once, he'll be done again and done for the year.
Yeah, we got a question here. Do you think Michael Carter is worth starting over Allen Robinson in the flex? I know Allen Robinson is questionable today. Has there been any update on who's out and who's not out today, Sean?
Well, Allen Robinson's game is until 4, so they're not going to release that until probably 3:30, where Carter plays at 1 o'clock. I would go with Michael Carter. I just think he has a better chance of having a better game over Allen Robinson versus the Buccaneers. Like I said, if Justin Fields doesn't get sacked 4 or 5 times and can get rid of the ball pretty quickly and not turn the ball over, they have a chance to hang in that game. But I think Tom Brady is going to show what his offense can do against a decent defense and a rookie quarterback.
Yeah. Payo Time says thank you. No, thank you. Thanks for asking questions. As a Jet fan, Michael Carter's tough to me because he is starting to get more touches, so I can see that. But they do spread out the workload there for the running backs, and going up against the Patriots, it's gonna be tough again. Like Sean likes to say, Zach Wilson was seeing ghosts last time they played him. But with Robinson's a big question mark.
Start, though.
What's that?
It was his first career start, though. So I mean,
yeah, I don't know. The problem is the Jets still are using a running back committee. Now as the season goes on, I do like Carter more and more. They're giving him more touches, but
yeah, in the last game, I think he had a rushing touchdown last week. So
yes, he did.
So I think they're starting to realize that he's got the explosiveness to get inside and throw over his shoulder. So I think he'll win that starting job. I would say Carter if that's your only 2 options at a flex. I would go with Carter though over Robinson just because Robinson's banged up and Bucs defensive line against a rookie quarterback, they're going to go after that all day.
Let me see what I got Carter at. I thought I just saw him on the list here. Yeah,
right
I
there.
have him at 11 carries, 45 yards, 30% chance at a touchdown. At maybe adding a catch or 2 for 10 to 15 yards. So I honestly don't know how the Jets are going to play coming out of the bye. And you never know. Belichick always seems to take care of rookie quarterbacks. So he's going to take something away. And I think I don't know. I don't know what to think. I hate Patriots week.
Yeah, I'd go Carter. That's my opinion. If there's your only 2 options at a flex option, depending on if you have other people on buys.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we try to stay away from kickers. Any kickers you particularly like besides Justin Tucker? I mean, Justin Tucker's a must start if he's your kicker. But
Matt Gay, Matt Prater, Harrison Butker. The people Young Hoku. People that are pretty accurate with kicking ability. I'd stay away from Mason Crosby. he's not really gonna do much.
Yeah.
But other than that, you just kind of close your eyes, wing a dart at a board, and whoever you hit, start him that week. Because kicking is hard to pick from.
Yeah. Payo time chiming in again. I have all the Rams. Should I start both Woods and Cup today, or sub out Woods for Devonta Smith? Sean, why I put those in the comparison? What do you think?
I think you keep Woods over Devonta Smith. I think you're guaranteed to have a good outcome with Woods. They're playing the Detroit Lions, who don't really care much on defense right now. The whole team kind of is on shutdown, I believe. And I would just say that Devonta Smith, you can get a few catches and yards out of him, but touchdown ratio isn't really in his favor right now. Where Robert Woods, you have a higher chance of getting a touchdown. You could even get him a rushing touchdown possibly.
Yeah, I put them in the thing. I agree with Sean. Cup, Woods over Smith. My problem there is, and I don't watch enough Rams games to know this. Payo time. If they jump out to big leads, do they start running the ball with Henderson?
Yeah. You want Henderson or Sony Michelle at that point, and thankfully I have Henderson in 2 of my leagues, and he's been my life savior this year, other than when he got injured. And when that week he got injured, I picked up Sony Michelle, and he was my life savior. So
I could be wrong. I believe Michelle is out this week. Is that true?
He was questionable, but they said he's probable to at least suit up.
Oh, okay.
They could use him, but Henderson's going to get the majority of the attempts. Sony Michelle, they're not going to risk injury. Same thing with the Buccaneers and Gronkowski and Antonio Brown. Sit them out. No need to play them. You're rolling through your teams every week, putting up 30 points. There's no need to go out and risk an injury to someone that you need down the road in 11 weeks for playoffs.
Yeah, so I still have to check my dynasty lineup this week. I got it. I traded for Hill, and Hill is questionable.
Nah, he's suiting up. They said he's suiting
up.
He's got an ankle injury every week. When you're running 100 miles an hour as a cheetah, you gotta have an injury here and there.
Cheetah or cheater? What?
No, he's a cheetah. But
talking
about defenses here, I would
go ahead.
I like the Cardinals, Bucks, Patriots, like you have there. The sleeper team that's kind of middle of the pack that could put up some big points is the Carolina Panthers, I think, today. I think they're destined to have some good games. And the Philadelphia Eagles defense, they're not on your top of the list there, but they're towards the bottom. There is a good chance you're going to get 2 or 3 sacks. Derek Carr, that when he sees pressure, he rolls over and doesn't like getting hit. He's kind of like Tom Brady. He won't take hits. And he's also really ruthless with the ball, so you got a chance to getting a turnover or 2 out of him. So I would say the Eagles defense is a long landslide of a team to start. You have them at 4.7 there. You have a team on a bye even getting more points this week.
I don't know. I still don't know how to fix that in the projection thing. For some reason, has something to do with giving up 0 points. Somehow it's automatically putting a 5 in there. I don't know why,
but I like the Eagles on a long landslide. I think that just because they're playing the Raiders, turnover ratio, Derek Carr has always been a turnover player, but they also, Las Vegas could put up 30 points in 3 quarters like they did last week against Denver. So it's a long landslide to play them. I wouldn't go out and pick them up if you have someone better to play, obviously. But if you need a defense that's on a bye, I would go and play them as a long landslide.
Yeah, I agree with you on most of the defenses. I was able to pick up, I believe I picked up Arizona in our Dynasty League this week. I was surprised they were available. But actually one of the teams I do like this week is the Patriots, even though they are banged up on defense. They just see Belichick against rookie quarterbacks.
He always goes all out.
Can always. I don't want to say always because Mills looked pretty good a couple weeks ago, and Houston should have won that game. But they just folded at the end. So, any bold predictions stat wise for today, Sean?
I'm still sticking with the one I said on Thursday. That you have more sacks and turnover ratio this week. Or what did I say? It was sacks, I think, and
I wrote it down here somewhere.
It was one of those.
Sacks. It was definitely sacks. That's all I wrote down.
Yeah, I think I said more sacks and turnovers this week with interceptions and fumbles. So I'm going to stick with that. It's hard to really pick an upset this week with so many banged up rosters and everything. But if I had to pick one upset of the week, I would say the Bengals over the Ravens. I think that's going to be your long chance of one. Other than that, there's really no many big bold predictions. You don't really have many top teams playing or top scoring teams playing today. You have a couple of them on buys. But I think that it'll be some good football. I think you're going to see a lot of teams playing this week, today and tomorrow, that are battling for seedings for playoffs. So it'll come down to in a few weeks. A lot of teams, they need wins to stay in it. And a lot of teams, if they lose they could lose a seed or two. Or teams that are out of the playoffs, they lose again. How far can you really fall behind before you have a chance at week 7?
Right. So yeah, guys, make sure you check your fantasy lineups. There are 6 teams on a bye this week, so if you haven't checked, we're only about 20 minutes away from kickoff here. I do like some best bets this week. I do like the Rams to win, the Patriots to win, Packers, Bucks, and Cardinals should all win. I'm 21-6 on the. I have it here. I think it's 21-6 on the year in my best bets. 21-5, which is just under 81%. So I do like those 5 matchups today. I'm actually looking forward to next week. Week 8, we have Thursday night. We have Green Bay and Arizona kicking off the week. That should be a good matchup. I believe it's in Arizona.
Yeah. Yeah, so, that's a really good one.
Any early takes on that one before we go?
I'm just excited to see how that one turns out. That's Arizona's first powerhouse team they're playing against, so I think that'll prove how their record is. They win that game. I mean, it's hard to say that they don't go 9, 10, 11-0 before they could possibly lose. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
They've beaten some good teams, but they've also played a lot of close games that they should have lost. I know Minnesota missed on a last-second field goal. They could have beat them in week 2. The Niners kept turning the ball over, and Arizona didn't really play good that week. They only won it. They only scored late to make it look like it was a 2-score game all game. So that's where I would say is Arizona's first real test. Green Bay. Green Bay has to win that game, especially to keep their chance at a 1 seed going. They lose that game, and the chance at a 1 seed with 2 losses is almost gone and out the window. So it'll be a big game for both teams, I think, especially with seeding for overall playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll be back Thursday night at 7:00. I'll be there. Are you with me this Thursday?
Yeah, I'm here with you Thursday. I will not be with you on Sunday, though.
Okay. All right. Payo Time chimes in one more time. Thanks for the stream. Excited to collab with you guys in the Rams bye week. Absolutely, Payo Time. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thanks for the questions. So, guys, once again, Thursday nights at 7 Eastern time, we go live before the Thursday night game, and then Sundays at noon. We changed it. It seems to work out a little bit better. We've gotten some participation in the last couple of weeks, changing it to noon instead of 11:30. So thanks for that. You can follow us at Pure Adrenaline Fantasy Sports on Twitter. It's actually at PA Fantasy Sports on Facebook, Pure Adrenaline Fantasy Sports. Sean, anything else before we head out?
No, just keep an eye on late injuries for the 4 o'clock games. If you have people in that are questionable or doubtful or probable, those could be your ticket pieces to winning your week or losing the week. So I would just keep an eye on those and to make sure that you try to get a win if you have a lot of buys in 1 week and your team has a lot of buys to try to steal a win this week. But just don't overthink your rosters. Try to stick with what you think is going to end up being a winning roster. And if you have a lot of banged up players, try to pick up some people that you could put in and get you a steal as a win.
Yeah, so guys, once again, we'll see you Thursday night. Enjoy the games. And Sean, I'll talk to you after the stream.
All right. Talk to you later, guys. See you Thursday.